Warning, the following podcast contains irreverent humor, uneducated and exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off your computer immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works.
You're tuned into the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. I mean, they killed his mother. What's he supposed to do? Send him a postcard? I wish you wouldn't have done that. AJ.
I was so hoping this was going to be a family show, too.
Oh, my God. Steve.
That's when you know you've really hit your peak and you're a good character. When you start decapitating children, yeah. I'm good with it.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we discuss fan theories. We also discuss fan theories. And then we discuss more fan theories. Yay.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I'm your host, JT, sitting alongside me in their usual spots, AJ and Steve.
That does it. We're switching seats next time.
I was going to say, we're going to shake it up one of these days.
Going to change it up on me. I'll
Flip
be like,
sides. And my OCD would go insane, too.
I think mine would, too. I'd be like, why is it Steve on my right? This is weird.
I'd keep looking to my left and just talking to the DVD rack.
Just gazing into nothingness. Like, what the hell is he looking at, man? Did he develop a lazy eye since the last episode?
It's my invisible friend. He speaks to me. I'm smart when I talk to him.
Nice.
So you were saying?
So, anyways,
yeah, podcast,
yeah,
Nerf Council, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, podcast, usual spots, the usual thing.
Table, microphone.
We're finally back on our normal recording schedule since May the 4th kind of threw everything for a little bit of a loop with
and that baby thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, like the last 3-4 weeks, you guys are like, all right, well, what are we doing for the show? I'm like, we're doing a show tonight? I'm not for sure. So, now I know.
Actually, that's all kind of on AJ. I keep questioning that, too. I'm like, are we doing something this week?
Right?
Our usual high level of professionalism, yes.
I know.
Exactly.
We're so prepared.
And all our prep work and everything.
I actually have prep work tonight. I actually printed some stuff out. This is
Hotel reservations?
Yeah, yeah, my confirmation for that third one.
Beachbody diet?
Hey, I lost almost 5 pounds last week.
I have a beach body already. If we're going to a 500-pound person beach.
I have a beach ball body.
Yeah.
Right?
John, you have a beached body.
Exactly. I've been going to the gym. I went golfing this morning, and I'm burning those calories.
I drive by a gym every day.
I'm using my... You used to go. You used to have a 6-pack.
Yeah, I did. And then I realized I like cheesecake.
And it loves you back.
It does.
That's seriously my problem. I just love to eat too much. Thankfully, I had almost nothing to eat. I was really being careful with the calories yesterday. And I get to dinner at the bar and restaurant next door to my apartment. And I was about to order, excuse me, I was about to order a salad. And they're like, what would you like? I'm like, I'd like the 1-pound burger, please. So I literally just got the burger with nothing but the bun.
I tried to
cheese,
say
no
salad.
bacon. Yeah. I literally had a pound of grilled meat on bread.
Wait a minute. The burger comes with lettuce. At least that would be some semblance of a salad ingredient. And
Yeah.
you just completely removed anything that might have tied to your original concept at all.
No, because it comes with fries, and I got a side salad instead.
Like, take that crunchy water and get it the hell off of my meat.
I had them put it in a bowl on the side, basically. So, well, moving on from my riveting diet talk.
Toppings? Fibbity flu.
Well, I'm trying to count calories, and I was like, I looked up the calorie.
And you're like, F that lettuce, bro. That's too many calories.
That's what would put it over the top when you're eating a 1-pound burger. The best was I didn't realize how hungry I was because this thing comes out and it's probably a good 2 inches, 3 inches thick. This thing was big, and
That's what she said.
I opened myself up for that one.
So did she.
I open. Man, we are off and running. So I open my mouth, take a bite, and everyone around me was like, "Oh my God, I would have had to cut that in pieces, this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Well, I have a big mouth." Next thing I know, my wife's food comes out a few minutes later, and I'm down to the last bite of this burger already. And everyone around me is like, "What the hell did you do with that thing?" And I'm like, "What? What?" Like it was a perfectly normal occurrence to just take down like a 1 pound burger in about 4 minutes or however long it was. And only then did I look back and think, you are a fat ass. Oh my God.
Should have hit him with some Bane. I was born into this. I was molded by being fat.
You got to cover up your mouth when you do that. Like,
Need to talk through a Pringles can or something.
But there is a badge of honor when you start measuring your food in pounds instead of ounces.
man, it was crazy because I worked out yesterday morning. I really didn't eat much all day, and then I had that burger, and I woke up this morning. I was down 1.5 pounds.
Metabolism.
So I now figured out how I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to basically starve myself until about 5 o'clock. And then I'm just going to strap on a feed bag and go until I damn near want to vomit, and I'll be slim in no time.
Hey, bulimia works for the supermodels, man. Go for it.
True.
What goes down must come up.
It's the anorexic workout. Open, poke, gag, puke. Open, poke, gag, puke.
You can loop that, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
That was a good little hook right there.
Yeah. Well,
The new Purge movie is just going to be your brother eating.
Let's see. We had the Purge Anarchy. Now we've got the Purge Buffet.
Oddly enough, people are still locking themselves in their house that night, too.
I was going to say that purge only happens once a year. Mine would have to happen a few times a week. Oh, my God. Well, so...
Now we're getting a new president this year. The Purge could happen multiple times a day.
Yeah, right. Very true. All right. Well, so this is something we've been...
Star Wars, right?
Yeah, Star Wars.
And then Star Wars.
So tonight, we're going to do something that we actually kind of thought about for a while, but we wanted to kind of come up with a pile of content before we did it. In looking for things...
We've got a pile, all right.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So
we
we've
do
talked
that every time we upload.
So we've talked about fan theories in the past, and we've delved into several of them. But looking up Star Wars stuff as often as we do on the internet, and looking for content and opinions and all sorts of different things to bring to the show, we've run into some really, really stupid ideas about the Star Wars universe, and we brought a few of them to the table tonight and wanted to discuss them, poke holes in them, share them just due to the sheer ridiculousness of them. And the reason, at least to me, that these are ridiculous is because these people are actually serious when they post these things. They actually think that these theories could really happen, and they're the most asinine ideas you'll almost ever hear. It's just really dumb. And I don't want to turn this into a bashing session on our show. Like I
thought that's what it was.
I mean, like every episode, I don't want to be like, well, here's something stupid and this guy's dumb, but
Again, that is pretty much every show, but we're talking about ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Now that's true.
That is the only thing that separates us from the authors of these theories is we are smart enough to know that we're dumb enough to not write a theory.
Yeah. And as I said before we started recording, I'm convinced that these people who come up with this garbage are authors who used to write EU novels, and now because no one wants to read their drivel anymore, they throw them out on the internet and basically it's a clickbait.
This is actually Random House just dribbling out little rejected ideas.
Right? I demand you bring back the EU, but since you're not, I'm going to give you my ideas. Basically, these are probably their rejected ideas for books. These are books that they wanted to write, and then like, oh, your stuff's no longer canon, so now they just have to throw their plot synopsis.
So now it
out
just
there.
ends up on Reddit.
Exactly. So
Not your best work, John Jackson Miller.
So I figured I would start with
I'm going to comment and share.
So I will start out with a short one because a couple of them, I know, Steve, you brought, I think, the same one I did in one respect.
A short one. So it's about Luke being a stormtrooper.
Yeah, Luke was a stormtrooper. Oh, my God. So the first one is about Poe Dameron. And basically, it says that
he's Snoke.
Yeah. Before I get into this, can you believe how much crap there is online about who Snoke is?
That's totally going to be the running theme for the rest of the night out of me. Do not ask me anything. I'm just going to say whatever you're talking about has to do with someone being Snoke.
We should just come up with our own fan theories about who Snoke is and just make it like every character. like Snoke is Lobot.
I like to think there's a little bit of Snoke in all of us.
Oh my God. All right. So anyway, this one is about Poe Dameron, and it says the Poe Dameron we first meet on the desert planet Jakku is not the same Poe Dameron at the end of the movie. He is in fact a double agent.
Bum, bum,
One of the biggest questions after the film is how he goes from crashing a TIE fighter into a sand dune to showing up in the cockpit of an X-Wing to save the day over Taco Dana. And this proposes to fill in that gap.
I don't know what Poe Dameron has to do with Taco Tuesday.
Pocket Taco.
Pocket Taco. Pocket Taco Dana.
Pocket Taco is Snoke.
Okay, it's the same Poe Dameron, but in this theory, he's recaptured after the crash on Jakku and has been brainwashed by Kylo Ren, programmed as a sleeper agent in a kind of Manchurian Candidate move. He would certainly be a useful plant to have in the Resistance, as he seems to be privy to all kinds of sensitive information. They even go farther to say that Poe's participation in blowing up Starkiller Base could have been a ruse to gain the trust of the higher-ups in the Resistance so he could eventually learn the location of Luke Skywalker. So let me get this straight.
Okay, so sleeper cell. So Poe Dameron is the Winter Soldier.
Apparently. But here's the thing. So basically what that person is suggesting is that Kylo Ren, in not so many words, decided to blow up the entire Starkiller Base and most of the First Order just to figure out where the Resistance was. Because that's, in a sense, what he did by having Poe Dameron act as a double agent. And, I'm actually on the good guys, and then go help the good guys blow up Starkiller Base.
Sometimes you got to sacrifice a few mil to find a couple hundred, man.
I was going to say, what kind of investment is that?
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few billion eggs.
Right? But I mean, how do you not come to that conclusion right away? Like, when you write that, don't you? Well, he's a double agent, but he blew up the whole damn First Order. So how is that? No, that right there
so
shoots
Poe
it
Dameron
down.
gets into his X-wing, and the James Bond music starts playing now.
Right? It's just, like, how did that not cross that person's not cross that person's mind?
I have one theory on that. Maybe that person may or may not be brain dead.
It could be. You never know. I read that, and the first thing that popped in my mind was, but Poe destroyed almost all of the First Order. You're not going to sacrifice, I don't know, your whole team just to find out information on the other team, which is a lot smaller. How do you not connect the dots when you're coming up with a theory like that?
You could. You'd just be a really horrible strategist.
Well, maybe they tried connecting the dots and they just went like 1 through 6, and then they skipped 7, 8, and they just went right to 10 with their own little line. And
by the way, are we completely ignoring the fact that there was a novelization that talks about how Poe managed to get back to the Resistance after crashing on Jakku?
Apparently so.
Okay.
I did not look at the dates on these, except to make sure that they had come out after the movie was released.
Well, the book came out the same day as the movie, so
there you go.
And you remember the book? You read the book, right?
No, I'm still
the book is
slogging
Snoke.
through it.
The book was actually written by Snoke.
That's who Snoke was. He was the author of the novelization.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm still slogging through that.
It's horrible, right? Like that was the First Order's true weapon. It wasn't Starkiller Base. It was that book. That's why I think Snoke wrote it, because if you can suffer through that, my God, you don't have the will to fight anymore.
I have to say, and this is probably blasphemy, but the narrator is good.
Oh, that's Mark Thompson. You can't begrudge Mark Thompson.
Yeah, I can, because it's over the top now. Like, didn't he do Plagueis, the Plagueis book?
No, that was.
Oh no, that was that British sounding guy. Well, anyway, I've heard a couple of this guy's. What's his name?
Mark Thompson.
Thompson?
He's done good stuff. The problem is when you're handed a turd, you can only polish it so much.
It's just too over the top now.
The turd is Snoke.
No, I just think it's too over the top in the audiobook, because like he grabbed the yoke and tried to turn to the left, but he couldn't, and then he had to go back down, and the laser got stuck, and he hit. Like, okay, I get it.
So he's doing a Macho Man impression?
He's basically acting it out, and it just is too over the top for me. I'm like, oh my God, just read the words.
Well, no, it usually works. The problem is in this book, they take about 20 minutes to describe what was 30 seconds of footage in the film. So it seems over the top because you're spending way too much time dwelling on very minor points.
I just think it was a little extreme, but
I can give you some other books and you can hear him at his best.
Well, like I say, I've heard a couple, but I just thought on this one was a little ridiculous. So, but yeah, so Poe Dameron as a double agent,
Double Poe 7.
I mean, wow! Good job.
You go from the book is Snoke to double Poe 7.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. It does say in here, Poe's participation in blowing up Starkiller Base could have been a ruse to gain the trust of the higher ups in the Resistance, so he could eventually learn the location of Luke Skywalker. So, again, at what point do you not start thinking to yourself, they're not going to blow up the whole damn kit and caboodle just to find out where Luke Skywalker is, or to find out where the Resistance is at?
Yeah, that is the theoretical equivalent of a Rube Goldberg device, which, if anyone remembers the game Mousetrap from when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Rube Goldberg device, is when you build an overly complex machine just to accomplish a simple task. Yeah, we're going to build an entire planet-sized Death Star that travels, the weapon itself travels through hyperspace and wipes out an entire star system at a time, just so we can program a double agent to show us where they're headquartered.
Yeah. We're not quite sure where Luke Skywalker's at. There's like a little thumb drive stuck in a ball droid. But rather than just try and get that, we're just going to blow up everything we've spent like 30 years to build, because that'll flush them out.
Countless Imperial credits and years and years and years of planning and
right,
converting a planet into a weapon, and
right.
or did they convert a planet into a weapon, or was that built ground up like the Death Star?
Yeah, maybe the terrain.
Know?
Maybe the terrain was the fake part, and the entire planet was the weapon.
I thought it was a weapon, but what do I know?
So, is it a weapon with terrain on it, or was it a planet that was retrofitted?
Maybe we should come up with a fan theory.
Maybe we should.
Okay, so
Starkiller Base is Snoke.
You are not going to let that go, are you?
Oh, I get it. The scar on his forehead
too.
is the gash around the equator of the planet.
Exactly. See, you're starting to figure this out.
Boy. All right, well,
When do we get crossover theories? Can we say like Snoke is Thanos or something?
Oh, jeez. The whole Disney universe
Disney's
comes
gonna
together.
tie
That
this-
was their grand scheme. Tie it all together. And next thing you know,
Snoke is Tony Stark.
Snoke is Captain Jack Sparrow. They start throwing in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, there be gold here. Oh, come on!
Snoke moves into the shadow, and it's or out of the shadow into the light, and it's
Davy
like,
Jones.
It's Davy Jones.
He's got like all the tentacles like hidden under his shirt. What are you doing here? Oh my God!
I wouldn't mind Davy Jones in Star Wars just because that character was so badass.
Yes, the character was badass, but Here we are again, giving them ideas.
The deadening silence.
You're
of
a
the
cruel
movie
man, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Kylo Ren, you are no master of the
Han
dark
Solo's
side.
still alive. He comes in later in the movie on the Pearl.
Exactly. They walk him in a boat, being like lifted up by crabs.
There's our fan theory. That's our fan theory right there. Kylo Ren stabbed him through the heart because his heart was in a chest somewhere.
Yes, exactly. And there's going to be a space kraken.
Is that the space slug, maybe?
There's another theory.
I mean, there already was a space kraken. It was the space slug in Empire Strikes Back. It swallowed the ship whole.
Why aren't we writers for Disney? We keep coming up with like gold. if you like crap, that is, but still, I mean, we could do it.
Well, if we're going to inject one bit of reality into our tangents here, Disney Infinities is actually... or that happens.
Then play Duel of the Fates, the choir over it.
Here goes the Han on the Pearl.
I got a bad feeling about this. Where's the rum?
Yeah, Disney Infinities was canceled though. So if that's where they're getting their plot ideas from, then bad move.
Wait, isn't that a video game?
Yeah,
Why'd they cancel it? I thought that was really popular.
not as popular as Skylanders apparently. So they got sick of losing money on it.
Yeah,
interesting.
Skylanders totally cornered the market, and
Well, I wasn't really sure what either of those was, so I didn't pay attention.
It's a way to buy a $5 toy for $15. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so
over and over and over.
yeah, I
and
was like,
over
so you
again.
get an action figure with your video game. Who gives a crap? Like, what is
Oh,
this?
no, it's not an action figure. It doesn't move. It doesn't have joints. It's just a statue.
Now I really don't get it. Oh well, that's
Well,
another topic for
if
another
you,
time.
If you do the Star Wars one, some of the lightsabers light up though.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So that was a $5 toy for $20.
exactly.
All right. Well, moving on. Since we were talking about Supreme Leader Snoke,
Snoke is Snoke.
actually, that's going to be what it comes out to be. Snoke is just Snoke.
That's true, and that's exactly why these fan theories are hilarious, because it gets super involved, and none of it ever turns out to be true.
Yeah.
He's going to be in episode 8 and the credits roll, and it's going to say Snoke as himself.
As himself. Well, you know what's funny?
Snoke is Chopper.
If you actually go back and look at like the fan theories that were being put out like right before the movie, and how unbelievably wrong some of them were, it was really kind of staggering at times. But all right, so this next one is, the theory is that Supreme Leader Snoke is, you ready?
Is
Grand Moff Tarkin. So never mind the fact that he got nuked on the Death Star. We're going to say that he survived.
Yeah.
A non-Force user just survived this massive explosion.
Hold on. Let me tweet Steve Stratton real quick.
See it, right? Okay. It says, okay, he's probably not, but it's an interesting theory. No, it really isn't, because you know right away, no, he died. He got blown up. He can't be Grand Moff Tarkin, so it's not interesting.
Grand Moff Tarkin is Captain Jack Sparrow, who is Han Solo, who is Snoke,
We're gonna have like
who
these,
is
like,
the Star Killer base.
we're gonna have all these like million tie-ins and everything. Yeah,
It's just like 98 characters. We're like, all right, so this is where it starts.
right. Yeah, look at this.
Anakin's pod racer is Snoke.
The theory presented by Screen Rant puts forth the idea that if Tarkin was able to survive the destruction of the first Death Star, and we don't know he died there, that he has all the skills and knowledge that Supreme Leader Snoke apparently has. Yes, we do know he died there. He died there. He died at the Death Star. This is not up for debate.
Oh, they're pulling the old, we didn't see it on camera. That means it might not have happened.
Yeah. I mean, The theory goes like this. I'm skipping around so I don't read these huge long things. The theory goes like this. Supreme Leader Snoke is an old man who's obviously been seriously injured by some previous event. He's got serious scars as well as potential burns that have healed as well as could be expected. The kind he would have received while escaping the destruction of the Death Star. Next, the man obviously has military experience as well, which is connected to the old Empire. The First Order may have Kylo Ren as their secret weapon, but it's first and foremost a military organization. That's the problem with these theories. Like, they take the tiniest facts in these movies and just glue it onto something similar and make a theory out of it. I mean,
Yeah, they always take the smallest detail and blow it way out of proportion.
yeah, he has military experience. Okay, so
I just hope that these people that are writing theories like this, they spend no more time than it takes to write the post. Because if they stew on this for hours and like construct their argument and really like exhaust themselves mentally on this, wow. I don't know. Go for a walk.
and I realized
Pet a cat.
I know I'm getting trolled because I'm clicking on this crap, and that's basically what it's for. But as you said, if they're taking a ton of time to look this stuff up and research it and think about it and delve into it this much, I mean, we sit here and talk Star Wars off air a bunch with each other. We come up with these ideas, but at least they're plausible, because if we were to come up with some, when you hit on an idea like this, well, what if Grand Moff Tarkin survived the Death Star? All three of us would immediately go, no, he didn't survive the Death Star, move on. So, but these people are like, well, what if we didn't see him die? Come on, really?
Well, I just did 5 seconds of research on the Star Wars soundboard, and I got this.
We will then crush the rebellion with one swift stroke.
Snoke. See, he said Snoke at the end, not stroke. We misunderstood it.
Oh my
the whole
God.
time. It was-
If we're just going with Snoke is theories, can I please read the subreddit that says Snoke is Ahsoka Tano?
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, go for it.
Okay, because I mean, a dead Moff is one thing, but at least it was a human male to a human male, not a Togruta female to a human male. So this is interesting. It doesn't really address that part at all, but let's just go with this for now. Okay. Theory that Supreme Leader Snoke is none other than Ahsoka Tano, Darth Vader's former Jedi Padawan. In Star Wars Rebels, Twilight of the Apprentice, the finale of Season 2, we saw Darth Vader dueling Ahsoka Tano. Vader leaves the Sith temple on Malachor after it explodes, and Tano is stranded there. Assumption, yes, she might have died, but she's seen walking into the temple, so I'm going to assume that she's alive. That's the author saying I'm. She is gravely injured and seeks out Sith teachings to learn the dark side and how to defeat Vader. But she realizes she can't take on Darth Vader and Darth Sidious. So she trains Luke Skywalker, Vader's son, to defeat the two Sith between Episode 5 and Episode 6. So now we've got Ahsoka under Sith influence training Luke between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Which we don't see.
Exactly.
And it's never mentioned.
You don't know it. You don't know it because you didn't see it. Okay? This explains how Skywalker became such an improved duelist between the films. But she's corrupted by the dark side and now becomes Snoke. Here's how it goes. Ahsoka, Snoka, Snoke.
You got to be kidding me.
Snoka is also a combination of Ahsoka and Snips, her former nickname.
I can't even. That's what I'm thinking, man.
Snoke being Tano also explains why the Supreme Leader respects Vader so much. And having been apprenticed to Anakin Skywalker and having taught Luke Skywalker, the Supreme Leader would naturally take an interest in other Skywalkers, e.g. Kylo Ren.
Is obtaining clicks that important that someone actually is putting enough thought into this to make an article like that to get somebody to click on it? That's what I wonder. Because some of the people actually are very convicted in their beliefs, but some of these don't say that they are. So I wonder, are you just doing this for clicks? Because something like that is so unbelievably crappy.
I hope they're just written to get clicks. Because if these are written in earnest attempts to explain things,
not to read people's garbage word for word, but the first comment underneath that, the first sentence says, "Nope," because a lot of moviegoers don't even know who Ahsoka Tano is.
true.
Yeah. Why do I have the feeling that in bringing this topic to the table, we're just going to frustrate ourselves?
Dude, the Ahsoka part, that hurt my brain.
Snoke is Snips plus Ahsoka.
Please tell me that I hope someone in the comments thread says something like, well, we only see Snoke in a hologram, so maybe it is Ahsoka using a decoy.
Someone does say maybe a male Snoke is just Tano faking a hologram.
There you go. That's what I wanted.
How do you fake a hologram?
Hey,
The same way Tupac and Michael Jackson still have concerts going on today.
Yeah.
look, I can look like a purple baboon on my webcam if I want.
Yeah. So she's faking a British accent, a super deep male voice. See, they miss all these points.
Well, you don't have to explain everything. Come on.
See, isn't it?
It is Star Wars. You have to explain every damn thing.
That's the one thing that I've noticed about these is they just pick and choose crap that backs up their opinion and completely ignore stuff that just shoots it down immediately. It's like politics. It's just like the presidential race. It really
Star
is.
Wars is the RNC.
Oh my God.
Snoke begins with S. Skywalker begins with S. So obviously, Starkiller Base is Snoke. Mic drop.
Oh, and on that note, we'll end the show.
Do we just want to keep on Snoke, or do we want to get on other fan theories?
Well, I have one more Snoke, and then I do have another one besides Snoke.
Okay.
So this one basically says
Admiral Ackbar is Snoke. It's a Snoke.
Snoke is an Ugnaught. That's why he was a hologram that made himself really big, because he was tired of being all tiny and piggy his whole life. So he made himself into a menacing
Constable
80-foot
Zuvio
tough-
is Snoke.
That rhino thing in the water was Snoke. I'm sitting here trying to think of the most ridiculous characters I possibly can to just spew out the name. Oh, those little cat things in the Rebels cartoons are Snoke, like something like that.
The stormtrooper smacked his head on the doorway is Snoke.
That's how he got that wound. He banged his head so hard, he put a big gouge in his forehead. Oh, okay. So I'm going to try and skip around this one because the points trying to prove this are absolutely terrible. But this one follows a pretty popular line of thinking, saying that Snoke must have something to do with Darth Plagueis, and then goes on to say that Plagueis is actually a virus. It's a Force using virus.
His name is Plague, and it's a Plagueis.
Yeah, it basically says that it can inhabit corpses.
Oh, I get it. A plague is a virus.
Apparently so. Yeah, I mean, see, this
Because Darth
look at
Plagueis
this.
sounds a lot better than Darth AIDS. So
Darth SARS.
Darth Bird Flu. That's not a very menacing Darth name. Shut up, man. It's all I could think of. This is Darth Vader. You shall be known as Darth Swine Flu. What? Shut up.
Darth from China.
Yeah. What's that one in Brazil right now? That like has everybody all panicked that they might
Darth Diabetes.
No, those are just Brazilian steakhouses.
I mean, Darth Diabetes, a.k.a. Jack Porkins.
What if they did just start naming Sith Lords after diseases? Because you had Vader and Sidious, so it's like Invader, Insidious. Now you're just gonna have like Darth diverticulitis.
I want a Darth Illis.
Why?
Sith Illis. Sithilus.
That's horrible, dude. All right, so see if you can follow this logic, because this makes no sense to me. There's a lot of stuff in here, so I'm skipping around. But during Palpatine's attempted arrest by the Jedi Council, led by Jedi Master Mace Windu, Palpatine is injured by his own Force lightning ability when its plasma beams are reflected by Windu's lightsaber. Despite this, he seems rather untroubled by the idea that he's now a living nightmare of a man. It's as if, despite being a Sith and fueled by passion and mortal possession, he doesn't care about his own body. During his conversation with Anakin in the following scene, his eyes and voice change many times, rather drastically, something that's not seen again in the entire saga. Plagueis' plan to take over Anakin's body were kind of destroyed when the young Jedi went swimming in some lava, so the evil Sith Master had a nice suit built for him to keep him ticking over. But then he discovered Luke Skywalker, Vader's very powerful son, and decided he'd like a spin in his body instead. There was just one catch. Plagueis could not foresee Anakin renouncing the dark side to save Luke, who Plagueis wanted as his new apprentice in the light of Vader's body being as damaged and incapable as it was. This gets good. However, Luke would not turn to the dark side, and out of frustration, Plagueis attempted to murder him. So basically, they're saying Plagueis is in Palpatine's body. Once Anakin's more powerful light side spirit had fully left his body, Plagueis took possession of it on Endor out of sheer desperation to remain alive. Yep, you read that right. We're now entering the realms of possession of corpses. That's actually in there. Okay, Plagueis was no longer concerned with having the perfect body. He would simply have to find another. He had at least some of his new body's limbs reconstructed via cloning. So now we're talking about cloning limbs as well as corpse possession, which is why Snoke's limbs, or at least his arms, appear biological rather than cybernetic, albeit small and deformed, so that his body would not be as inhibited. It can be assumed that the rest of the body will be recreated piece by piece throughout episodes 8 and 9. Ugh.
I know we're trying to like have fun with this and react to it, but I got nothing. What do you say to that?
It's so basically it's saying that like when Palpatine killed Plagueis, I have to assume that's where it starts if they're taking it out of the Plagueis book, or just the episode 3 when Palpatine says that he killed him, or infers that Plagueis' Force spirit basically went into Palpatine and lay dormant.
Can we find this author and ask him what he thought of The Village by M. Night Shyamalan? Because I'm guessing he loved it.
These do kind of sound like M. Night Shyamalan stories. Awful and without premise. But yeah, so basically, so not only are we talking about like a separate soul, for lack of a better term, inhabiting a body, but then they go to the whole cloning limbs thing. So they're not even cloning a whole body. They're just saying, I'm going to make an arm.
All right, can we move this along? Because honestly, like we were laughing and goofy at the start of this, and now I just feel put upon even having to talk about it.
Well, that's why. I mean, we're trying to find stuff that is like good information about Star Wars. And in doing research like that, you come across these things and it's like, what? I mean, who thinks of this stuff?
And why is it not just okay to say he's a new bad guy? Everybody wants to know what Snoke came from. Maybe Snoke is just Snoke, as Andy Serkis said, and he's just a new bad guy. The fact that we never saw him before doesn't. Palpatine and Vader weren't the only galactic in the Star Wars universe. It's very possible someone else also wanted to seize control.
Yeah, and that's what these theories all seem to have in common, is that they all relate back to existing characters. Like, there couldn't be other characters. I actually read one today that I didn't bring that said that Finn is actually a Skywalker. And said that because Lando Calrissian was hitting on Leia after Han got thrown in the carbonite, that Lando was there to comfort her, so they ended up banging and having a kid. And so that is how Finn came about. So he's actually a Skywalker because Leia's his mother. So basically, because they show one black guy in the galaxy, when they show the next black guy, he automatically has to come from the first black guy. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me?
Doesn't that make Lando Mace Windu's son?
Exactly.
Apparently, the Star Wars universe, there is only one African American bloodline. So
yeah,
there's the random,
right?
there's the random, starship flyer pilots that were in episode 1. There's there was Panaka. So
he was like from the Virgin Islands or something. He was Hawaiian.
Yeah, he was like Melanesian or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have Lando Calrissian, Mace
cousin.
Windu. You've got those random pilots. They're kind of like the Jacksons of the galaxy.
Well, you know what? If you think about it,
and like the random pilots would be like Tito.
Yeah,
and like Mace was like Michael, and
Lando they were cool for a couple of minutes, and then then Lando came along and started moonwalking and wearing one glove.
They were the unsuccessful, crappy ones, so they just ended up as pilots. Whereas Mace Windu is basically, wait a minute. I'm right. They are the Jacksons of the galaxy, and Mace Windu is Michael, because Michael and Mace both have an M, an A, a C, and an E. That makes Mace Windu the Michael Jackson of the galaxy.
And Mace Windu had a purple lightsaber, and purple is a color in our galaxy.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We cracked it. No, actually, though, I'm
getting good at this.
We broke the Star Wars.
I will give some credence to this fan theory, though. I will totally give credence to this, because if we've already got the Immaculate Conception with Anakin having no father, then the smoothest man in the galaxy, Lando Calrissian, could definitely knock a woman up with a line.
Okay, well, now that, yeah.
I think she was already baby on board as soon as he said, "You certainly belong with us amongst the clouds."
True. Yeah, I could see that. He maybe he gave her a Colt 45 and it had a Mickey in it or something. He roofied Leia.
Well, that was just for funsies, but I mean the deed was already done.
Funsies. But yeah, I mean all these theories, they always tie to another character, as if there can't be a new character. It's always, well, what if it's, because this guy's related to Luke and Ben and, Leia and Han and, Vader. Like, okay, there can be other people. It doesn't have to just be the same 7 characters just, gang raping each other and being like Duck Dynasty, like all inbred and crap, all over the galaxy. I mean,
there's only 3 types of characters. There are Skywalkers, Kenobis, and Sith. That's it.
That's all there will ever be.
Speaking of Sith,
man, this is a small galaxy.
One I just stumbled on here.
Okay.
Maz is a Sith Lord.
Are you serious?
First evidence would be that she is Force sensitive, but no Jedi. Okay.
All right.
Another supporting fact is that she's over 1,000 years old, which would result in her being born around 966 BBY or earlier. And if we start looking for Sith Lords in that era, we would come up with Darth Bane and his apprentice, who have no confirmed death and was born around 1010 BBY. So if this is true, Maz would be about 1,044 years old at the time of TFA, which is easily possible.
What's BBY? Battle before you have no life?
Exactly.
You know what it means, right, AJ? You're just kidding.
Yes, battle before Yavin.
No.
Maz doesn't look very...
Stop. Before the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So you didn't know.
The Maz doesn't look very human, but due to severe aging, this could be explained. Then she would have gone into hiding up around 41 BBY, using the Force to inseminate Shmi Skywalker to give birth to Anakin. and then appeared throughout the prequel and original trilogy, monitoring the rise of the Empire.
Oh, my Lord.
After the Battle of Endor, she took Snoke as an apprentice, whom recruited Kylo Ren on his turn, just like Dooku and Ventress in the Clone Wars. And from her position, she could easily turn Rey to the dark side without being suspected, defeat Luke, crush the Jedi Order once and for all, receiving the ultimate power over the galaxy.
No one would ever suspect a wilted tomato of being a Sith Lord. That's true.
Right. So if I'm hearing correct, that actually just said that Maz Kanata was basically the creator of the Immaculate Conception.
Yes.
So never mind the fact that
And Snoke
Maz-
is her apprentice.
so we're basically just completely ignoring the fact that Maz looks Yoda-esque, and Yoda was 900 years old, so she could be that old, and that species could potentially be one of the more force-sensitive species in the galaxy, considering you had two of them on the Jedi Council, that being Yoda and Yaddle. So we're just going to completely ignore that fact that she could be like of the same species as Yoda and Yaddle, and therefore force-sensitive, and she could just be sensitive to the Force but not a Force user, so she's aware of it.
Well, orange skin and no giant ears. I wouldn't say she's the same species.
Close.
But I will definitely say that by having seen one species that can live that long, there's probably a second.
Well, look at the skin. It's a different color, but tell me the first time you saw Maz Kanata, the first thing you didn't think of was Yoda in some aspect of it. I did.
Well, yeah, that was deliberate from a storytelling standpoint.
Yeah.
But, well, okay, I guess you can't rule out skin color because, well, hey, we're human and there's a few different shades of us. But as far as aliens go, it's, well, no, because you've got, come on, guys, help me out. The dancer, Twi'leks.
Yeah, Twi'leks.
Twi'leks, there we go. Yeah, there's already precedent for different skin colors of alien species as well in Star Wars. But the lack of giant pointy ears, I don't think that Maz is the same species as Yoda, but I definitely think that if you can have one species that lives that long, there's no reason you couldn't have another one.
Yeah, that's...
I would actually say longer because she's still, getting up and around, no problem. And Yoda kicked it, when he was like 900. So apparently Maz is older and still, relatively spry.
Nice word to describe it. Yeah, these people are obviously digging when, and I understand that like it's an easy way out to say, well, she looks like Yoda, so she's probably kind of like Yoda. But to go that deep and say that she's, a Sith Lord, and that Snoke is her apprentice.
A Sith Lord,
and excuse me, and that she created Anakin Skywalker. Really, again, and there it is, tying to other characters again.
Of course,
because she's a Sith Lord. She would have had to have created Anakin Skywalker.
Maybe Maz and Yoda used to have a thing, and then they split, and this whole thing is like Maz being like a jilted ex, so she's starting.
Oh my god.
Okay, can we steer off of fan theories a little bit and discuss the whole purpose of fan theories for a second?
No, because I just read one that says Han fell into a garbage chute.
God, no.
And just happened to fall into the garbage chute that they had earlier put Captain Phasma in, and she delivers Han's body when she tried to save him but failed, so he is dead in this theory. But she takes his body to Kylo, and then they send a video to Leia and Chewie making them believe he's alive.
Oh, I thought the theory was going to be that that's how Phasma survived, was she got punted out of the space because Han's body knocked into her and
Well, actually,
sent a video. What is this, YouTube?
Yeah, and all I could picture is them going full Pinocchio on his ass. They're just
Weekend at Bernie's.
They just got marionetted.
It's a Weekend at Bernie's, Weekend at Hans. They put sunglasses on him.
Hand come in the side, moving his lips. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm alive, guys.
I have a bad feeling about this, but I'm okay.
You guys should come save me.
Hey, that's as legitimate as any of the other things we've been talking about.
Guys, we have an audio podcast, and all I can do is shake my head.
Yeah, and no one can see me and Steve like I actually moving or I lose like this.
Let's see. Without reading these things, how about one that's just titled "Rey was created by Luke through midichlorian manipulations"?
No, okay, can I ask an actual question that we can get talking about that does not involve someone else's harebrained theory about this or that?
Darth Poodoo is Snoke.
So we're not going to talk about Rey actually being a reincarnated Anakin Skywalker.
No,
Because
we're
she-
not going to talk about the Chosen One theory. Okay, it was done in the Matrix already. Thank you.
Done well too. I love the Matrix.
That scene still bends my mind around and turns it into a pretzel. I still don't know what to believe of the architect.
I still don't understand the story of the whole thing. I'm just like everything's so green. It's so cool. Like, that's what a mental.
Everything's so green.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I was thinking of history of the world.
All right, go for it.
Anyway.
Ask your question.
Okay, so all these fan theories that we talked about so far are sequel trilogy, mainly Snoke, but sequel trilogy in general, right? All the questions that were raised in Episode 7. And the most popular line of thought is to try to trace it back to events of the previous trilogies. Do you guys need that to make this trilogy good? Or are you okay if they just start telling a brand new story that doesn't have ties to all these old characters? If it's just new characters furthering the storyline of the Force and its influence on the galaxy?
I think that's a two-pronged answer for me because they've already tied it to the older characters, and I'm fine with that. I mean,
so far they've only tied it to the older characters by having them interact with the newer characters, but they haven't.
Well,
yet.
no, I mean Luke Skywalker is basically the center of everything right now,
Right, and they've said that Kylo Ren is Lon and Leia's, whatever, Han and Leia's son.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's the tie-in. But does Rey need to be someone important's kid? Does Snoke need to be some reincarnation of something? So on and so forth. Like, or can they just have those be the only ties, and now it's a new story?
No. See, they've already started it with the tie-in, and I'm okay with that. Had they started it out as just a completely new story, I don't think I would have liked it as much. Because it would seem kind of EU-ish to me. So I think my answer would be that it needs a little bit of it, but that's what I'm saying. These fan theories where every single one of them is just extremely tied to existing characters, especially main characters. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, I think by having legacy characters in there, it's enough of a segue from the original trilogy to at least ground the story that they're about to tell without having to rely upon the original trilogy from this point forward. Exactly.
And it's like I said on the last episode about the prequels. I like the fact that they took chances and tried to tell a new story. That's what was interesting to me. And I think it'd be cool if they did it with the sequel trilogy. And as I've said many times, that was my complaint about Episode 7 was that they didn't do that. Now, if they go in Episode 8 and 9 in a completely different direction, I will really enjoy that because it's a new Star Wars story. That's cool. So if they use Episode 7 as the springboard just to kind of show how it ties to the older characters and then lets it go off in its own direction from there, okay, I would be able to accept that.
I kind of figured that's where they were going anyways. I figured 7 was just to get us all on the hook and then, draw you back into Star Wars and then go on their own little tangent and start new again.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. They might just go to the well for all we know, but
boy, I hope not.
I like to hope they're not.
Yeah, I hope the similarities in 7 were strictly just to make sure that everybody recognized it and got on board with it as a legitimate Star Wars story, and then they take their own direction with it. Yeah. If you're really going to support the spirit that George Lucas began, it's to take risks and go off in new directions.
And also to use green screen.
Yeah.
Yes, but they do. They just they do use green screen.
Is Snoke.
Or Snoke is green screen. Oh. God. It all comes full circle.
Damn it. We have broke the fourth wall many times tonight already, dude.
Right?
That fourth wall is just beat to hell.
We broke the fourth wall so many times. It's the fifth wall now. But it's well,
I keep thinking of Deadpool, like a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Okay, so since we've been reading everybody else's fan theories,
Deadpool is Snoke.
There it is.
Well, okay, so that's Steve's fan theory of the night. Let's do a couple fan theories of our own in a very short fashion, because I have actual questions about The Force Awakens, and I want to know what you guys think about it.
Okay. Well, go ahead, and I will preface this by saying I actually do not have any fan theories.
Well, right, that's
Make
why
one up on the fly.
Well, a fan theory is a thing that answers a question raised by the movies. So let's start with a question raised in the movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
All right, so Lorsan Tekka, backstory. What do you think?
That's a hard one. He obviously has been. He was with the Rebel Alliance because he knew Princess Leia back when she was called Princess, which was still episodes 4, 5, and 6. So he's been around forever.
True.
So he obviously was someone, and obviously someone somewhat influential in the Rebel Alliance, because how else would he have the little map to Luke Skywalker? I mean, they're not just going to give it to some dumb lackey. So, he was obviously someone of some importance. It just I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he seems
to be very in tune with the Jedi and the Force, which is a weird thing, because if you're not in that group, why are you so big on that group? Now, with his age, though, he was around during the Clone Wars, so he would have remembered the Jedi Order in their prime.
I don't know about that. That's pretty old.
Well, let's see. Luke is about 60. Lorsan Tekka is older than Luke, visibly. So we're going to say probably Lorsan Tekka between episode 2 and 3, maybe?
Yeah, but that would make... Well, I mean, it could,
so the Jedi still
be.
existed when he was a child.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true. It could work. Okay. That would make sense. I was trying to do the math in my head, and yeah, it's a possibility.
So can we just sit on the easy, low-hanging fruit wild theory that Lorsan Tekka was a youngling that escaped the Jedi Purge? He wasn't yet a Padawan, but he was a youngling. Maybe he was that little booger that told Obi-Wan to go look for the gap in the gravity well.
Yeah, that's another fan theory. Lorsan Tekka is actually the kid that found the planet, that found Camino in the space map.
They called him Liam in that movie, but that was just a swerve.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I guess, yeah. Like I said, I don't know.
So Lorsan Tekka could be old enough to remember the Jedi Order before it fell in Order 66.
Yeah, and so he's familiar with it. So he would have been almost like the politicians and stuff that who were familiar with the Jedi.
Okay,
like Bail Organa and whatnot.
Yeah,
who were familiar with it and had knowledge of the Force, but weren't actual Force users or Force sensitive beings.
Okay,
I think
I go with that.
I think if I remember right, didn't they say there's going to be I think I read that there's going to be like a flashback scene about that to kind of explain Lorsan Tekka just a bit.
I feel like he needs some explanation. He had basically like his little exposition right there at the front of that movie was about the same as Obi-Wan's story to Luke about his father in episode 4.
Yeah, it seemed like too important.
Yeah, there was enough of a story to be told that I want to see it now.
Yeah. And my first thought was, well, how does this old guy have this hugely important piece of information? Like, who is this guy? And then they kill him. I was like, oh crap! All right, I guess I'm not going to find that out.
Yeah, that's the one bit of misinformation or misdirection in the movie. They talk about it's a map to Luke Skywalker, but maps don't point to people. Maps point to locations. Now, the theory was, as Han said, that Luke went looking for the first Jedi Temple. So the map is actually a map to the first Jedi Temple.
Ahch-To?
I guess. Is that what they call it?
That's where he's at right now, is Ahch-To.
Okay. So apparently
I don't know if my pronunciation's correct, but I think it's AHCH or ACH-TO.
Well, it's a very uneven path, and there are a lot of rocks. So yes.
Yeah. Maybe then it would be Ahch-To, because that's basically they named the island off of the sound that you make when you stumble. Because when you trip, you go Ahch-To.
Exactly.
So, so that was probably the worst joke that'll ever be told on the show. But
I was leaving it unsaid because I knew it wasn't that good. But if you want to go for it, then go for it.
Just in case there were 3 people listening that basically our whole listenership,
right,
that didn't quite get where I was going with that.
But yeah, so the whole why Lorsan Tekka would have a map to the first Jedi Temple is intriguing, and I want to know why.
But okay, now wait a minute. Do we know that Ahch-To is actually the location of the first Jedi Temple? Because Han just said he went looking for it. He didn't say he found it. And I don't remember, so maybe
he just got stuck on that island.
He ran out of gas.
Yeah.
He ran out of gas and got stuck. It's like, of all places, I'm on a friggin' mountain. There's nothing here. But when Han was talking about he went looking for the first Jedi Temple, was it inferred or said? I know it wasn't said, but how did you take it? Because it sounds to me like you're thinking where Luke is right now is the location of the first Jedi Temple, but I don't think that was made very clear. I just thought it meant he was looking for it, and that his failure came after he was looking for it. So I don't know if he found it and then left it, and that he did his Jedi classes or whatever, trying to restore the Jedi Order. He did it at the first temple and then had to go into exile, because that's the way I kind of thought that it was. I thought Ahch-To was a separate thing. It wasn't the first Jedi Temple. How did you take it?
I assumed because it wasn't stated that he went anywhere else, and you can't possibly, unless you're talking about the Marauders map in Harry Potter, you can't have a map that points to a person. So for them to have a map that ends up being followed and results in finding a person, that means he has to be at the place you expected him to be. And the last intel was he went to the first Jedi Temple.
Okay. There's so much gray area here because
the map pointed to where Luke Skywalker was, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing we heard was Han saying he went looking for the first Jedi Temple. So unless there was something unsaid, off camera or in a cut scene of the movie that says, well, he checked that out and then he went to this other place, the only place he could be that they would expect to find him at would be the first Jedi Temple.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If he went looking for it, well, I'm going to go, I got to find where this first Jedi Temple is. And he's gone, and everyone goes, oh, he's on Ahch-To. It's the first Jedi Temple. So what? Did they have the information? Just didn't tell him? They're pulling a joke on Luke. Like, look at this asshole. He's gonna go looking for this place, and we already know where it's at. And then everything goes to hell, and they're like, ah, crap. We actually need him. I guess we should go find him. Seriously, now, is Ahch-To the name of the first Jedi Temple?
Well,
it's
my assumption is that Luke went to find it and did so. And the reason no one could go find him when they decided they needed him was that no one else knew how to find the place. So the reason the map was so sought after was because the First Order didn't know where the place was, and the Resistance had just figured it out. That's why it was such a matter of importance to put the pieces of the map together, because they couldn't. All they could get to from BB-8's thing was steps 7 through 10 of a 10-step map, and R2 had steps 1 through 6. So if you didn't know where Ahch-To was, then the fact that Luke went there means he's gone.
Yeah, I just think this raises some potential problems.
According to Wikipedia, and it's canon, they are advertising Ahch-To as the first Jedi Temple.
Okay, see, then that again raises questions. Well, he went to find it. Well, you already know where it's at, basically.
No, Luke figured it out, and then other people also figured it out. He didn't tell them where it was, and then they decided they wanted to find him, so they had to find out where he went.
How would other...
Though it does also say the first Jedi Temple first appeared in The Force Awakens, so... Apparently, nobody knew until Luke
I don't know.
found
That's
the place.
Yeah. See, that just leads to gray area because they have a map to him.
Maybe this is part of episode 8. Is someone asking, "How did you find this place?" And then
but
we get
again,
our first flashback in Star Wars history.
I mean, but it's obvious that like one of them had to know to make a map. So did Luke go there and like communicate with them and say, "Here's where I am"? But even that doesn't make sense because Leia says, "Oh, I'm trying to find Luke." So how would they know to make a map to go to Ahch-To if they don't know where he is? See what I mean? How it creates some like potential problems in the plot?
Better write a fan theory about it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is where fan theories come from. But yeah, I mean, it's if they don't,
I'm going to go slightly fan theory on this. I have a half-baked idea.
you're gonna get crucified if this sucks.
Okay, Luke finds how to get to the first Jedi Temple. Like, he figures it out. He knows where it is.
Okay.
And then he's the one that actually creates the map, but then separates the pieces. I don't know why, but that's the only thing that would make sense is if he figured it out and then didn't want people to follow him. So he made it hard to piece together. That's it.
That, you know what? That's actually not that bad of an idea. I'm trying to, you know what that's kind of like in a way. It's kind of like the Path of Illumination in Angels and Demons, the second Dan Brown novel with Robert Langdon.
That was a good one.
Where only the scientists could like the path was in plain sight, but only the scientists knew what they were looking for. So like everybody else is like, well, I don't know where the heck this is, but the scientists were like, okay, follow this statue, points to this statue, points to that statue, points to. So maybe it's like that where Luke made the map so that only people that were quote unquote, and just using this as a general term, worthy would be able to, find him or the first Jedi Temple.
Fan theory. Han
Is Snoke.
is Indiana Jones. And the first Jedi Temple, he had to turn a bunch of mirrors and get like some light in through a hole in this cave. And you turned all these mirrors to light it up.
The Well of Souls is actually Ahch-To.
He had to be penitent.
So
Only the penitent man will pass.
So Han had to die so he could turn into Indiana Jones to help Luke find the Temple of Doom, aka the first Jedi Temple. And
Snoke is Mola Ram.
and when he takes the little baggie off of the thing, it's actually got like the first like Jedi holocron in it.
There it is. See, now we got Star Wars, and we've got the Avengers,
And then they get
we've
outside
got
and Willow
Pirates of
is
the
there.
Caribbean. And that was the fifth one. We got Willow, and then Indiana Jones. All five in this shared universe.
I'm good with that. Or we can, like I said, we can get Harry Potter in here because if the map does point to Luke Skywalker, the only map that's ever pointed to a person in cinematic history was the Marauders map in Harry Potter.
See, I'm not familiar with Harry Potter, so I don't know that.
So as they have the map open, as R2 is pointing it into the sky there, every time Luke just walks around, the little red dots just keep moving on the map.
Right.
And then it just stops for a while, and they're like, what the hell? Oh, he stopped in the bathroom. We're watching Dot Matrix Luke take a dump right now.
That is why Rey was so emotional holding out that lightsaber at the end. Because as she's got Google Maps up trying to find this place, because she actually entered destination as Luke Skywalker, she's like following all the jumps and it goes recalculating.
And as she used her Garmin, she used the Darth Vader voice to
Right.
help her get to
Right. So it keeps recalculating. So then she holds out the lightsaber and is like, will you stop moving?
I thought she looked like that because Luke was going to use that lightsaber hilt as a fleshlight.
You're going to really regret that comment if it turns out that she is his daughter.
Yeah, you just made it really gross.
Now it's real.
Yeah, right. Now it's real, damn it.
Okay.
No,
so-
it's not that bad. That's why he's using the hilt. I didn't say he touched her.
There goes our media credentials for next celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, the hilt is modeled after Leia. Duh.
Oh my god.
They already made out.
So this is the fan theory that you came up with. That not only did they have a brother-sister kiss, but off screen they did more.
On top of the Han Solo Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Okay.
And
Yes.
the lightsaber hilt is actually a fleshlight.
Exactly.
Oh,
See, this is
okay.
where I'm going with this.
By the way, that's a product idea right there. I mean, the lawyers have swooped down faster than you can say, midichlorians, but come on, you know, if you could sell a line of fleshlights that were modeled after lightsaber hilts, billions.
That were modeled potentially after female characters of the Star Wars universe.
Oh, now that Rey has handled,
I'm not going there at all.
now that Rey has handled Luke's saber, you could just make a Luke one and say that it's Rey's.
See, I didn't make it that crazy. He just talked about Rey handling Luke's saber.
Hey, to be all inclusive,
That's why I'm off the mic.
To be all inclusive, Finn also wielded that saber.
Let's just get back to the map to Ahch-To, because this is really, going to a dark place.
Can we go to a simpler place? Simple question.
Yeah.
How the hell did Phasma get off of Starkiller Base?
Phasma is Snoke.
Really, they said that Phasma survived, but as far as we know, she was stuffed in a trash compactor. How did she get out of there?
Well, the rebels got out, so in episode 4, so there's got to be a way. I mean, maybe a stormtrooper saw her being dumped in there.
They had a comm link to a droid.
Maybe she did too.
Well,
Maybe because it was so hard to get out of the trash compactor in episode 4. The new trash compactors have escape hatches.
or maybe an emergency shutoff. So if you're a person trapped in it, you can turn it off before you're crushed.
Exactly. So there's our fan theory about garbage compactors.
Here's an actual thing, not a theory, but an actual proven thing because it's in the visual dictionary of The Force Awakens that sounds like a fan theory. Speaking of tying new characters to old, do you know that there's a connection between Palpatine and Phasma?
Oh yeah, isn't it
Continue.
It's the her armor is made out of it's something of Palpatine's, isn't it? What is it? It's something like that, isn't it?
From the hull of one of his shuttles. Yep.
That's right. Okay. Okay.
Made from the same stuff as Captain America's shield.
Yeah, vibranium.
Which is not adamantium. We want to make that explicitly clear, said
right.
Fox and Marvel.
Well, yeah,
Anyway.
adamantium bonds to bones. Maybe vibranium doesn't. That's the difference.
Anyway, I think that's a good place to leave it tonight because we never really got on anything of substance anyway.
Yeah.
So
Do we ever?
let's end the podcast on a positive note.
Okay.
You are a collector of the Black Series figures, correct, John?
I'm trying to be.
Okay. Well, I have one to add to your collection.
Okay.
Before it goes in some other trash compactor, here's a Captain Phasma 6-inch.
Oh, where'd you get this from?
I got it from the store for a very good price, thinking I could eBay it for at least as much as I paid, and it turns out, no, you can't. Nobody wants that figure.
A Captain Phasma 6-inch, so we're still talking about the fleshlights.
We're talking about
Damn
6
it,
inches of
Steve.
Phasma. Yes, 6 inches in Captain Phasma. Yeah, exactly.
Why? See, I want it because I want all of the black. Like, I'm not a collector, as you know, but I would love to have every single one of the Black Series just to say I did collect some Star Wars.
But me as a fan have a theory. And my theory is that Captain Phasma is a friggin' worthless character, and this just proves it. When you list a $20 figure for $15 and no one wants to buy it, you have a terrible, terrible character. I listed it 3 times and did not have a single bid.
Well, see, now you got it for free. Now if she kicks ass in episode 8, that thing's going to go through the roof and you can sell it, dude.
I hate her doubly so anyway. I bought a second copy of the Lego First Order Transport because it's an awesome thing and it has like tons of like flame troopers and stormtroopers and great figures to go with it. And I thought, hey, I can buy a second one of these. I can hawk the Captain Phasma figure because I only need one Captain Phasma figure. And then I'll make some of my money back, right? So I tried to do that, except my stupid ass lost the cape after listing the auction. So I ended up having to send the figure anyway, minus cape, and refunding the full price. So So I hate Phasma doubly so now because she cost me money twice.
Well, supposedly she's going to be much more involved in episode 8, so that will be rectified.
so she won't turn the entire base over to the enemy and tell Finn to submit his blaster for inspection. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, remember that 8-bit, video that I showed you guys with
She got saved by the swamp monster in the
the Dianoga bailed her out.
the Dianoga.
Yep.
Yeah. Did I ever show you guys that?
Because he had to relocate after the Death Star explosion. So.
The Dianoga is Snoke.
Yeah. Well, Vader's boss was the space octopus.
Exactly.
Sorry, the garbage octopus.
Garbage octopus, right? All right. Well, I guess we will, as you said, leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of silliness. Figured we would get off of overly serious topics for once and just kind of have a little fun for an evening.
Yeah, sorry. We made you think a lot with the last episode. We decided we wouldn't this time.
3PO's red arm is Snoke. Not so much the rest of him.
Yeah,
just the red arm.
We're going to be thinking about this the whole time. But anyhow, thanks for tuning in. You can check us out at nerfherdercouncil.com, our Twitter page at NHC Podcast. We are on Facebook. Just do a search for the Nerf Herder Council. We are actually going to be upgrading our web hosting here pretty soon because we apparently have had a problem where you can't listen to any more than about 23 to 26 minutes of an episode off our website. So we're going to be rectifying that problem.
Are you sure that's a hosting issue or just a quality of show issue?
No,
I can't listen to more than 20 minutes of us.
Well, you know me, and I'm constantly reviewing things, and I cannot get past 23 to 26 minutes in a technical way, not in a content fashion. So, all right. But, yeah, so we're going to be fixing that. You can find us at all the usual places. Spreaker. Spreaker. I pronounced that wrong. Spreaker.
Coming out of
Stitcher.
your speakers.
Yep. Podbean, Google Play, all that fun stuff. Feedback at nerfherdercouncil.com if you would like to email us.
Our website is Snoke.
Yeah, nerfherdercouncil.com is Snoke. So until next time, I am your host, JT at Dogpound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He's Steve.
At JSteve1005 is Snoke.
You beat me to it. I was going to go. And you're Snoke. We'll catch you next time, everybody.
Bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.